And
They must have some, yeah.
I don't know how that fully works, and I claim this is my number one sport of how this works.
Also, that's behind the scenes sort of stuff, though, isn't it? Whereas in changing room things. So.
Yeah, I've had since I started working here, I've had an education in sports in general. It's just very, when you see the other side of it and all the work that goes into it, it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I imagine it's the same for you being involved in it.
I guess so.
Well, you've been involved in it from a young age, haven't you?
Yeah.
Whereas I came into this after being a fan for 10 years. And then you get to
see the other side. That's probably better.
That is intriguing.
Yeah.
Because you hear all the things, but then you come and see it, and then you learn how everything actually works.
Does it take the magic away though of it?
Kind of, but then you get the opportunity to like I sat down with David Ling and David Beauregard, who are two of my all-time favourite players.
Is that Beauregard the goalkeeper?
No. He's the player of one eye.
Oh yeah, Dan, my husband loves him.
Yeah, he had the bubble. He used to wear the bubble, and he's one of my all-time favourite players, as is David Ling, and I'd never met them before, and they came back for a testimonial the other week, and I emailed them both and said, do you want to come and do this? And they both said yes.
That's really good.
And I got to spend 2 hours with each of them, just one-on-one, and like, there were some people saying, "Oh, he kept interrupting." I'm like, I was so excited. Yeah. I couldn't believe that the other side of the that they're literally where you were.
That's good that they did that though as well.
And you know what? You either say never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Both tremendous.
That's brilliant, that is.
Both amazing.
Yeah.
So speaking of heroes, do you watch Marvel films?
Not really.
But do you understand the concept of them? Because it's not a question about Marvel films.
So I wish I watched them because I do actually like them, but I just never watch them.
Well, I imagine time is an issue for you.
Yeah, but I've got an 8-year-old, so he'll probably like them. So he likes Spider-Man and stuff.
Oh, we've got one of our players' kids now always wears a Spider-Man suit. We got him tickets to go and see the Marvel.
Oh yeah.
At the arena, and ever since then they had to buy him a Spider-Man outfit, and he won't wear his dad's jersey. He won't wear his dad's jersey to the game.
Yeah.
He goes in his Spider-Man suit.
That's wicked.
Apparently he wants to be an ice hockey player, but when he saw that, he wants to be a superhero.
Oh, of course.
So and my reference to superhero films is, if you were going with you know how comic books work. Issue number 1, origin story. What is Lyndsey Harkin's origin story?
Oh my god, that's hard question.
Number 1, where did you grow up?
Nottingham.
Actually in the
Arnold,
city?
Yeah. Well, not in Nottingham City, but Arnold, yeah. Grew up in Arnold.
Where'd you go to school?
Arnold Hill.
You a good student?
Yeah. No, I was good. Yeah.
Did you like school?
I loved school. Parts of it. I liked PE and certain subjects.
I was going to guess that you like PE as your favourite subject.
Of course, but I don't know. Some things I didn't like as much, but on the whole, I did like school.
Because from what I've read, you started playing for Forest when you were 8.
That's right.
But when did you start playing football?
6 or 7. I played for a boys' team first.
I'm guessing like then that was older. I bet there wasn't.
Yeah, there wasn't many not as many as now.
Well, now it's really taken off, hasn't it?
Exactly.
It's definitely a boom.
Yeah,
period
definitely.
Now. So what was your first football memory?
I'd say watching my brother, because I've got he's 2 years older than me. So I used to go to his games, and he played for the older team of what I played for. So that's how I got into it, really. So I think probably watching him and just playing out on the park and the garden.
So then did you go and used to watch? That's great use of the English language. Did you used to go and watch Forest then?
Yeah.
Because I know from what I've read, you're a Forest fan as well.
I can't remember my first game, but I remember I used to watch the crowd. That's all I was interested in it when I was young. That when the silly songs they'd sing, and I'd ask my dad what they were saying.
Words.
Yeah, basically. But one game I remember is Chris Bott-Williams scored 2 free kicks. That's all I can remember of him quite early. So, and he was my favourite player then.
I'm guessing he's still one. Like, I guess when you get a favourite player at that age, they kind of stick with you.
Yeah, I think it's because he scored them 2 goals though, and then he still was one of my favourites. But
because I will admit, football is not my number 1 sport.
Yeah.
It is. It's not.
Not even.
I'm weird with football.
Top 10?
I don't watch men's football.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I fell in love with women's football at the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, fair play.
But the first women's sport I ever really watched was the WNBA.
Right. Okay.
Because they used to put their game. 2 years ago, they put their games free on Twitter.
Oh, really?
So I watched one. Yeah. I was like, this isn't bad actually. And because I've stopped watching the NHL. Yeah. Because I'm around ice hockey all the time. I don't want to watch it when I get home. So I wanted to get into another sport, and that was a way for me to get into basketball.
Okay.
But the WNBA was my route into it. So and with me not knowing much about football, I I remember Chris Bott-Williams because for some reason back in the 90s, 98, 99, I was a glorified Manchester United fan.
Right, okay.
Just because that's what you did when you were at school back then.
Yeah.
So
some of us.
But it's some, yeah. I never went to watch. My dad was a Notts County fan.
Yeah.
I had no connections to Nottingham Forest, but they were in the Premier League, so they were on Match of the Day. So I remember Chris Bott-Williams.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the only ones I do remember.
Okay.
But if you had to pick a favourite player, who would it be?
Andy Reid.
Oh, okay. Have you met him? Because I know he's still around and stuff.
Yeah, I think he goes to a lot of the games and stuff, and he follows us on Twitter and stuff. So it's quite good that he likes our tweets and stuff. But
what the Forest Women's account or your account?
I think he's liked a couple of mine actually, but I know he's definitely liked Forest Women's. But yeah, I just loved the way he played. Like it was so, the ball just stuck to his feet, and he had a really good left foot, so it was good to watch.
Free kick. I know he's the
way
little
he could cross the ball, just good player.
Yeah, so when you're playing football with the boys' team and your brothers, were you always a defender then?
Yeah, I think so.
Because when you're playing with boys, and not to sound like very lowbrow, it's quite physical to be a defender, and obviously boys they're bigger than girls early on.
Well, I was only 6 or 7, so it's not as big. The difference isn't as big there. They're probably naturally a bit bigger, but it wasn't much difference. But I think when I was younger, we used to play different positions, but mainly it was just. I think I was just a natural defender. Really.
Was it always centre back?
Not well. I've played right back a lot as well.
A lot of running though, that is.
Yeah, getting older, so pushing me in the centre a bit more.
So when did Forest first? Obviously, when you were 8 years old, they identified you and brought you into their program.
Yeah.
But do you remember what that was like? From when you're just playing at school and stuff, and then Forest come and say, "Do you want to come and play for us?" Or do you go?
Yeah.
Or do you?
Well,
go to them?
I think we went to them because my dad's friend's daughter played for them, and they knew that she was the year older than me, and they knew that I liked football and was playing. So they said, "Why don't you come along?" And it kind of just went from there. I think I was 2 years younger. 1 year younger than everyone, but at that time you could play in that age group under 10s. So it just went from there really, and just gelled into it.
And then how long were you with Forest for then? Because obviously you're back with them now. I've read comments that you were a former Forest player, and so as I said, I haven't got your career history in front of me. So how long were you affiliated with Forest at that point?
Till I was 18, I think. Maybe even touching 19, so about 10, 11 years.
Because I know the women's team's gone under a lot of changes since those days, hasn't it? I mean, even in the last year it's gone through
massively,
a massive change. So where did you go when you left Forest?
I went to Doncaster Bell, so when we played for Forest when I was 18, it was the top league then, I think it was the National League. But then they formed the WSL, and that's when I moved to Doncaster because Forest didn't get into the WSL league then. You had to apply to get into that. Doncaster did. That was probably the nearest team I could go to, and they approached me, so I went there.
And what was that transition like, going from a team that you've loved forever to go and play for someone else? What was that?
It was difficult at first, when they did come knocking on the door. I love Forest and I'm a Forest fan, but the opportunity that was there, I couldn't really turn it down, and going to Doncaster was a good decision. They were a good team to play for, and great fans and stuff, so it was good.
And how long were you there for?
5 years, I want to say. 5-6 years.
And where did you go? Did you come back here?
And then straight back here, yeah.
Okay. And is it here ever since, or has there been other stops along the way?
I did play for Ollerton for a while after I had my second child. I went back there for half a season just to get my fitness back, and that was good.
Is that because that's not semi-professional? That's
it's a bit of a lower down, which I knew a lot of their players. They'd previously played for Forest and things, so I knew a lot of their players. So it was nice to get back into it with people that I knew as well.
And like you say, second child, and you're playing in what is a semi-professional league, so you're not a full-time football player. What is the motivation for you to keep? Because obviously you have the 2 children, you have another job.
Yeah.
What is the motivation to keep doing
it? Keep going. I just love football. It sounds daft, but that's your break away from your hectic lifestyle of children and work. So just the love of the game. I think it's something I've always done and couldn't imagine not doing, really. I just love playing football.
That's a fair answer. So that must be, because it can't be easy, because from what I think, Lee told me, you train twice a week.
That's right, yeah.
So that to manage all of that, having to fit that in, and then you have quite a bit of a funky fixture schedule where you don't. Sometimes you don't have many games. Sometimes you have games once a week, and it just kind of seems to roll along, kind of thing.
Yeah, It can be difficult to manage, but I think I've got a really supportive family, and my husband's good as well. Like he's got the boys tonight and other nights that I've training and things. So without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
Yeah, we'll get on to your former Panthers season ticket holder husband later on. I remember that when you told it me.
Yeah.
So when you are, at what point did you, when you're younger, you get signed up by Forest, you then go to Doncaster. But at what point earlier on did you realise that I want to try and pursue this as a thing?
I don't know. I just think the way it progressed. I stayed at Forest. I kept playing and to the next team, and it was just something that you saw the pathway through the youth teams that you could get to the first team. It was we knew a lot of the first team even when we was younger, so it was just kind of progression. I don't know, it was just natural progression, I guess.
It's just kind of thing that I do this, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. It was a good club. Like, it was just natural to us to try and push towards that.
Yeah, and doing it for a team that you love must have been
exactly.
I'm a Forest fan. I'm with Forest. Why do anything else?
Why would I go anywhere else? Yeah, exactly that.
And what was the setup back then like compared to today?
So today, in terms of first team, we've got a lot more support from the men's side. We have GPS trackers they literally track everything we do in training and matches. There's a lot more support in that term. So we are, although we're not professional, the professional environment is massive, and that I think that's really pushed us on this season. So I think that's a huge difference, and just the interest in women's football is a lot different now. And yeah, there was obviously fans and stuff then, but I think when you look at girls in schools and things like that, there's a lot more taking part, and you see more of a pathway and even a career in some instances in the top leagues.
And what role do you think, obviously there's been Women's World Cups before, but this one felt different, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what it was, there was just something behind this one where it just felt...
I think more of a buzz, wasn't there? Just everyone wanted to watch it and be a part of it.
I remember seeing the adverts on the BBC with something Miss Banks, the adverts with the rapper.
Yeah. And
that was like... And I even went to the cinema and that advert was on. It was like 2 months. It was like 2 months before the World Cup, and I was like, I'm actually going to watch this.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the first game with like France against. So they beat them 4-0. I can't remember who it was, but I remember that stadium being absolutely full, and just to see that on telly, it's just brilliant. Absolutely incredible.
Exactly, and if people that have not watched it before, I think I'd hope that would kind of spur them on to come and support more, because you see the standards and the level that people are playing at, and it's a good quality, so it was really good.
And have you seen it, and as someone who's been around the women's game since obviously the 90s or whatever, have you seen that support increase since then, even for you guys? Yeah,
I definitely think so, yeah. In the last, I don't know, couple of years especially, it's massively improved, and I think it can only go higher. It's improving every day, and I think it will get better as it goes on. And
because I came to that hospitality game that you had against Hull, and I think they said there were like 500 people there. That must have been to play in front of 500 people. Still must be a really good feeling.
I think that was our record, perhaps at Eastwood as well. So to be able to even do that at our level, that we're third tier women's football. So I think that's brilliant that we've been able to host that and get new fans down, and hopefully they come back again, because we won, so it's a good sign. Yeah, so hopefully...
I remember you won 5-2, and the manager still said he didn't think you did very well.
Yeah, we've got high standards. It sounds funny, but I agreed with him, Like, there was certain things we wish we'd have scored more. We had some really good chances, but it doesn't always work like that. We won, and we was happy we got the 3 points, but you've always got to look to improve, haven't you? So.
And as I say, goals are what are entertaining in football. But even though I'm going to say this, there were just 5, because you and the coach were disappointed with it. Even the goals that were scored, it was like the Precious Hamilton.
Yeah.
She's got a hat trick, finished it with a back heel.
I know.
That's just
crazy.
Like to have the stones to do that anyway. Yeah. But that is the flamboyancy. Is there, the entertainment factor was there, even though it was, again, just 5-2.
And her confidence is like on fire at the minute. She's literally been scoring like every game, so just the audacity to even back heel it like that, no one could believe it, but you can when you know Precious, so it was good.
Well, I remember she did the post-game thing on the stage, and she seems like quite a character.
Oh, she is, definitely. Princess.
She's got the best name as well.
We love her.
I mean, that's the best name I think I've ever heard in my life. And as you said, this year, you're 4th in the table at the minute in the 3rd tier.
Yeah.
What is the ambition for the team?
To get promoted. That is.
Because it's a championship next level, isn't
it?
It's
a tough league we're in at the minute. We've got some really good teams, and we've got Burnley on Sunday, unbeaten so far. But we think we're more than capable of, if we play to our best, we can beat anyone in the league, we think.
Because this is going to go out after your game against Burnley, so I'm going to get you a prediction on this that you can then be called out for afterwards.
Fair play. But I know it's going to be a tough game. Any team in this league, it's always a tough game. But if we perform to our best, I do believe we can beat anyone in this league.
So what does a traditional game day for you look like now? Because obviously your games kick off at 2:00.
2:00, yeah.
Round the board, is that?
Yeah.
You're always on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So what does a game day look like for you?
Well, on Sunday we're away at Burnley, so I think we're meeting at the City Ground for breakfast. They're treating us to a breakfast before, which is nice. So we all meet up before, have a little chill out and eat whatever we want there. There's put on a nice spread for us. Get on the bus. I think it's leaving at 9. And it's a bit of a trek up to Burnley, so we'll have a bit of, I don't know, play cards on the bus, do anything, have a bit of a laugh on the bus and chill out, and then...
Who's your normal partner on the bus?
It varies, to be honest. Wherever I sit near the back, but we've got a bit of a luxury coach sometimes, so we've got the table one. So everyone fights over them chairs.
I know, because all our guys, they like 2 chairs to themselves on their coach.
Yeah.
They're a bit precious that way.
Yeah.
And if any of them listen to it, yes, I mean that. And I'm not sorry. You don't need 2 seats.
No, that is greedy.
Yeah. But having the plush coaches, that makes you feel more like professional, doesn't
definitely.
it?
Yeah, we've never had things like that. It's just, it sounds like silly, but it's... really,
it doesn't sound silly, because what it sounds like is that they're preparing you for that next level when you eventually make it. So when you go up to the championship and then you eventually get up to the WSL, because I know from speaking to Lee, he is very ambitious about where this team could, because obviously he tore everything down and built it back up again. But having, like I say, the coaches, the GPS trackers, it gets you ready for that next level, doesn't it?
That's the aim. That is the aim. Like I've said before, that's our aim to get promoted, but to prepare us as best we can. So everything is in place for really, but we just need to put the performance out on the pitch as well.
And then as the captain of the team, now I don't know how this works in football, but whereas when we chose our captain, there was a team vote when they did it. Are you just named the captain, or is it team vote?
It's not team voted. No. I guess the manager chooses. Really, yeah. I don't know how or why, but yeah, I was the chosen one.
Did you not have any conversation with Andy about that or anything?
Well, I was... so last year, I got named captain then, halfway through the season, and then it just carried on. I don't know. Don't know if that was...
You don't often see... Well, I guess you do see captain changes when regimes change.
Yeah, and that's what it was.
Yeah, so I'm guessing everything was on the table then. So if you go back to, like, say, last year...
Yeah.
And Lee came in last year, 2018, I think he came in.
No, what year were we on? Yeah, 2018, yeah.
So what do you remember about when he came in and everything? Did everything start to change immediately, or did he just come in and just like look at the setup and what was happening?
Yeah, he had to look at it a bit, and then he obviously had his ideas already of what he wanted to put in place, and then once he got his feet under the table a bit more, it was just a chance of putting them together and getting us all on board and showing us his vision, really.
And then as captain, did you have any conversations with him?
Oh yeah, I was always in touch, and
especially if you've been affiliated with the club for so long, since you were 8.
Yeah.
You're like almost entrenched in that women's program.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a case of him showing us his ideas and showing us what he wants from the club. And when you see them ambitions, like, you want to be a part of that, don't you? So that's exactly the way it was.
Another thing that shows the standard of the club is I know today you lost one of your teammates who's gone over to Australia.
Australia, yeah.
And she's gone to sign in a professional league.
Yeah.
And that just shows what you're producing. Almost.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Even though she wasn't with you for very long.
No, she wasn't at all. But I think she grew up in Australia, so it's going back home for her. But the fact that she's come to play for us and she's gone and signed a pro contract in Australia, I think it shows the levels that we're performing at. But she is a big loss. We'll miss her, but good luck to her, because she can't turn opportunities like that down at all.
Once you get a professional offer, you kind of have to take that.
Exactly, especially in Australia.
Yeah, but as a club, that is a tremendous selling tool for you guys, for new recruits coming in. It's like maybe you were a professional last year, you haven't got a contract this year. Now, look, you come to us, you could
look at what
either stick with us and get there with us because that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
Or come here and you never know what doors that could open for you.
Definitely, I agree with that. Yeah, it's ambition, and if we're she's gone and done it, so who's to say someone else couldn't as well?
It's just because she couldn't hack the cold weather.
Yeah,
really,
probably.
if she is Australian, this is not the time of year to be knocking around here.
Coming to winter, she wants to go there.
And then this year as well, you're also playing in that, I forgot the name of it, the Nottingham Cup.
County Cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know your next game is against Notts County.
It is, yeah.
Away at Notts County. Well, away.
Yeah, it is away. Yeah.
Where do they play?
I don't know actually. I've never. last year we played them as well, but it was at home, so I don't know where they play. I'm not sure. I think some games they have played on Notts County's.
What, the Meadow Lane?
1 or 2, I think. But other than that, I really don't know.
Well, that one would be a good one for them to put on at Meadow Lane, sure.
Yeah, hopefully. I think maybe 1 or 2 games they've played, but I'm not sure.
Well, you never know. By the time because I'm hoping this goes out next week.
Okay.
And when it does,
we should know by then. Hopefully.
No. Well, we're going to be in Denmark.
Oh, okay.
So maybe you'll have endured yourself to enough Panthers fans that you'll see some Panthers fans wherever Notts County.
Yeah.
That's the hope with this.
Okay, fair play.
So have you played against Notts County before? Because I know they're a bit of a funny one because they were in the WSL, weren't they? When they had people like Ellen White and Alex Greenwood and Jade Moore. Okay, yeah. I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
I know the big names.
What do you mean? I'm telling her.
Oh God! Please don't send her to be the
ones.
Please don't send her to be the next one for this after that.
But yeah, they was in WSL, and then obviously the change in the chairman there, it all disbanded.
Well, they pulled the plug like really early on. It was like just before a season was about to start.
That's right before. So there was a lot of it was sad really the way it happened. There was a lot of players.
Especially like I say, the players that they've had come through the door, for them to not make that succeed, it was
a big shock.
It's a reflection on them. It's not a negative. Yes, it is a negative, but I don't see, from my perspective, I don't see how you couldn't have made that work, especially with the marketing potential you would have with those individuals.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the way it was, wasn't it?
Things happen.
Real big shame.
Yeah, things happen. But their loss with Sophie Bolton is your gain.
Our gain, yeah.
So looking at your schedule, you don't play routinely every week.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a funny one this season so far. We've had a few weekends where we haven't had a game scheduled, but there's a few cup games to play in there as well. So
it's like December's pretty quiet as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we've got the next. I think we're playing Leeds at home in the next part of the cup, the plate, and that's in November. So if we get through, then there'll be another one in December. But obviously,
so which cup is the plate then? Because I know you got knocked out of a cup at the start of the season, didn't you? Against Huddersfield.
But I think because we lost that game, we're in the plate side.
Oh, okay.
That's the way they've done it. So it's like the second.
And then if you got through that fixture, then you got that next one will probably be in December. Where
I would imagine so.
Where at the minute you're gonna have a very easy December, where it's one fixture.
And then another game, because of the Leeds game, has been moved against Fylde, so that might be put in December. So it depends on what the FA kind of schedule in, really.
Yeah. Fylde is what? I have no idea where Fylde is.
It's near Preston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My geography is terrible. I know how to get from Ilkeston to Nottingham and back again. And that's it. And I worked in Derby for 8 years, so that's it. So, and speaking of Derby, that must have been a pretty special win this year.
Oh yeah, massive win.
Especially for a Forest fan.
Yeah, at Pride Park it was.
Did you play on the big stadium?
We did. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Oh, okay.
1-0 win. It was quite a tight game from the start. Like they came out as first half, but I think second half we put it back on them and to get the win. I think it was 85th minute or something around that mark that Precious scored. So it was a very good win. Yeah.
So to play in a big stadium like that, what does that feel different than like playing at Eastwood? Like obviously Eastwood, and I don't want to call it Eastwood.
No disrespect.
I don't want to call it Eastwood Town because Simon got in trouble for that when he said it on the stage.
Oh, okay.
This Eastwood Community.
Oh, Eastwood Community Football Club. Yeah.
I wouldn't have known the difference because the two.
I think they regenerated as Eastwood Community or something. I don't know.
But as it is nice to have your own home.
And it's a lovely ground. Great setup.
The one part because I remember where I stood is that bit on the where the stand is.
Yeah.
The other side where like the path goes down.
Oh yeah.
And you almost got like your head like level with the pitch. That's where I stood for like 20 minutes. Like, it's the most insane experience I've ever had anywhere.
It is really good.
But when you go from playing there to a stadium like, I'm sure you're not going to compliment Pride Park when I say this.
Yeah.
But when you go and play somewhere like Pride Park,
yeah,
it must be it's quite a change.
Oh, definitely. I think it just brings an extra buzz, a bit more excitement. You have more fans there. Like, people want to come to them games more. It brings an extra pressure, but I think we thrived on it, to be honest. And it's great to play at any stadium, to be honest, and even if it is Derby's ground.
Well, we'll talk about more positive stadium experience you've had then, when you got to lead out the team against the Reggae Girls.
Yeah, Jamaica, that was unbelievable, really.
Did you ever think that you'd lead out a team at the City ground?
I don't know, it was always a dream, I guess.
Dream it, but did you think it would happen?
Well, I wasn't, at that moment, I wasn't even captain, but our captain couldn't play that game, she was working.
I was like destiny.
So it was dead strange the way it worked, but it's always been a dream of mine to be able to do that. And it was such a good experience.
I know you had about 3,000 fans in for that one.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like, it was like proper carnival atmosphere. There was all Jamaica fans, a lot of them anyway.
So it was something to do with Windrush, wasn't it?
The Windrush generation, yeah. So it was all to celebrate that, and it was just really good to be a part of it.
Is it? And wait, when you're walking out there, what is going through your mind when you're the first person out as the captain?
I don't know. I try not to really think about it. I did look out a bit, and you can't just kind of see everyone, but we'd already warmed up on the pitch, and you kind of started to get the buzz of it all. I don't know. I didn't feel nervous. It was just a bit surreal, I guess. Just the fact, the amount of times I've been there watching Forest, and then I got to walk down the tunnel. It was with my team. It was just really surreal, really.
I mean, there's gonna be a picture framed in your house somewhere, I'm guessing.
Well, no, not printed off yet. It's on Facebook and stuff like that.
There we go. That still
nowadays
counts. That is the wall of the bedroom.
Yeah,
these
basically.
days. So when this team is getting put together over the summer,
yeah.
When you're watching the group being put together for this current season, what are you thinking when all the players get? Because are the players signed up on? Are you multi-year? Are you year to year?
It's year to year.
Because like our guys, because hockey in general is a very nomadic sport. Like if you're an import, you might stick somewhere for 2 or 3 years, but you're normally going to end up somewhere else.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if you guys if you guys are kind of similar.
It's not necessarily. It depends. I guess it depends on, like you say, if regimes change or anything that's similar to that. But I think that we're at Forest right now. Like, I'd say everyone would want to stay. The way it's set up and the buzz we've got, the team cohesion and everything. I couldn't see. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's hard to think of anyone.
You could see anyone leaving
out of that. But it is a 1 year that you sign up for, but it doesn't mean that that's the only time you're gonna play.
And then I guess with it being semi-professional, your commitments could change easily. You could get another job that takes you somewhere else.
If you you might have to move city to move a job, so that might change. But the majority of people, we're quite local. There's a few northerners as well, which have to travel quite a bit, but they love it so much.
So how have you found juggling work and playing football? Are your work really helpful with what you do, kind of?
Yeah, so I work daytimes anyway, so that helps. And I still get to pick my oldest up from school. So
that's cool.
It is very doing the next thing. Then I've got to pick him up. Then I'm going to training. It is very.
Well, I'm guessing you're a very organised person.
You've got to be. It's the schedule it can be busy. But same with some of the other girls. They've got uni football. So everyone's in a similar position. It's just finding the right balance and making sure you're enjoying it.
And then, like you said, as you said earlier, the motivation behind that is the love of the game.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's also the growth that you want to leave a legacy.
Yeah, I'd say so.
If you were the captain that got Nottingham Forest promoted to the Championship, that's a massive career notch on your belt.
Definitely. That would be a dream come true. We've said that's our potential and our target to do, but to actually do that would be really good, and something you'd remember forever.
Because how many teams get promoted from this league?
One.
Because I know there's two divisions.
Yeah.
There's North and South.
They do change it quite often. So normally there's a Northern and Southern winner that then play in a playoff. But last year both went up.
Oh, okay.
So Coventry and Blackburn both went up to the higher league. So I think it depends on how they're expanding the league above as well.
I'm guessing. I know that their situation is different, but Manchester United's women's team, are they because I know they recently formed, yeah.
Obviously
they've got the funding is a different world.
Yeah.
But their progression up and then up again.
Yeah.
Is that something that you look at and you see that's...
Well, it's obviously they've shown that it's doable. I think the budget is obviously a bit different to majority of teams. But
it's still not easy to just do it from just creating one and
from
going.
nowhere. But they got straight into the Championship and they was able to attract them players because it's Man United. I guess putting that badge on.
Look at who they can sign now, even though they're not very good.
Yeah.
The men's team, not the women's team.
Yeah. I know what you meant. Well, that's it. It's the brand of Manchester United, isn't it? It's world known. So
once you win on brand, you've won forever.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah.
So when you, what would you think the stand? Obviously, you'll know the answer to this, and I don't. What is the difference in standard between the third tier and the Championship? Is it just more professionals? Is it?
Yeah, it is a bit of that. So they will train more than us. I think we could compete in that league. I really do. I wouldn't say it if I didn't, but I think things would need to keep progressing the way they are, and that's, I don't know, until you play teams like that, how do you know how the difference or how good they are or not? So I think on paper, I think we could definitely compete with them, and the way we're progressing, hopefully we will play against them.
And with some of the scorelines that you're getting against the teams that you are playing, you are dominating teams. So you are perhaps at a level where you are probably potentially a bit too good for the level you're all at the minute.
Oh, I'd all go that far.
I know as an athlete you can't say that.
Yeah, I think that's getting ahead of ourselves.
I can say that. But
because you look at Sunderland's, Burnley, Derby, a good team. Like we've got a lot of good teams in our league, and it is very tough to get out of. And we've got to play Burnley on Sunday, and they're unbeaten. So that's our chance to test ourselves.
So is it more of the top teams are really good and the bottom teams aren't?
I wouldn't even
much?
say that. I honestly believe sometimes it is how you play on the day. Like I think any team in this league can beat any team.
Well, that's the dream. Parity is what any sporting sporting like the NFL or the NBA. They want parity. Fans don't like it because you want your team to win all the time.
The more competitive is, the better. Isn't it?
But parity is what in my mind, is what every sport should aim for. Because if you can turn up and any team can beat any team, that's like real sport. Anyone can beat anyone. Exactly. That's what I think everyone should aim for.
Yeah, I do honestly believe that as well. Like you get a bit of momentum, don't you, when you start winning games, or when you're losing games, you might be on a spiral of momentum that way. I know
about that lately.
Yeah, I've heard. But so if I don't know, Hull are at the bottom of the league at the minute. They won the week before they played us, so you never know, they could build on that. So I honestly think everyone can kind of beat anyone on their day.
And it's also things become, like you say, like it's momentum, but things become a habit, don't they?
Habits.
Losing can become a habit because
Definitely.
You keep doing the same thing wrong, you can't get out of that funk. But if you keep winning, and the positivity is always there, and
it's just the confidence as well you get from it, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I say, I've been around the Forest women for one game, but you could feel the positivity, not just around the team. Just around the whole...
everything.
The whole stadium.
Yeah.
Like just from being in that Eastwood community football ground, you could tell that everything there was just so positive and upbeat.
Definitely.
It was just it was a really good feeling to be in there.
That's good to hear that, actually. As a new fan, like, it's good to come on and kind of see what we see, so...
And what also must have been quite cool for you was to see how full that hospitality experience was.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of people in that room.
There really was. They did well with that. I think it was a great idea, and hopefully I think there were talks of trying to do that again, because I think just to be able to host that was really, really good for where we're at and bringing new fans down. And
then again, what must be quite nice for you is I remember at the end of the game, you all came into the room.
Yeah.
And you've got all these little girls in football outfits, which must be a quite incredible feeling for you guys.
Yeah, asking us to sign their programs and stuff. And
I remember the one brought you the ball up to you and to sign the ball.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And
I know it must be nice when little boys do it. When a little girl does it, it must be a different feeling for you inside.
It's the same. It's a kid that coming to watch you play, but to see little girls wanting to play football, I think is massive, and to see that they can. They want to nick your shirt in a few years, so I think that's great to see. Yeah, and it's like you say, it's because, like I said, because of the Women's World Cup, it's about the progression that they've seen there. You can see that as a real avenue for people now. Definitely,
it's not a pipe dream. It's I can be a women's footballer. Yeah,
and it is, like I said, like you say, Man U, they've got professionals in their team. It could be your career to be a footballer, and I couldn't remember things like that when I was younger. So, just the way that the game's moving is really, really good.
Well, it's even the same for you guys. I mean, once you touch wood, get promoted, then that avenue is there for like Forest fans like you, who are 8 years old now. They could be professionals with Nottingham Forest in 10 years' time.
Exactly, and that's amazing.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
really. Obviously, Forest, like you say, I know I'm a bit all over the place with this.
No, it's fine, don't worry.
But that's just because, like I say, I'm flying blind, so I'm just like, the things are coming back to me as I'm remembering them.
Don't worry.
The name change.
Okay.
Forest ladies to Forest women.
Yeah. Why, do you mean?
Why? What was behind it? Do you think it's a positive name change kind of
definitely.
thing?
Yeah, I guess the way Lee kind of looked at it was, it's not Forest gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. It's Forest men. Why not Forest women? I don't know how other people see it, but I just think I definitely think it's a positive thing to the way it changed. So. I say
because if it was me, like as a marketing person, I would have just scrapped it completely. But obviously you can't, because Nottingham Forest is such a synonymous with one thing. Yeah. But I think about it in the terms of like I say, I watch the WNBA, and all their teams. None of their teams are. They're all owned by other teams mostly. Like the Washington Mystics are owned by the same person who owns the Capitals and the Wizards.
Right.
But they've got their own team name.
Okay.
So it's not. And obviously, sports in this country is very different to in America, where obviously Hull found that out when they tried to change their name to the Tigers, which I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I was the only person who's like, yes, they should definitely.
Sounds more like an ice hockey name, I think.
It's not that. It's just that. It's that more like that Americans are perceived to having more fun. With everything. Like I was like, yes, the Tigers. That's fantastic. You can sell that. That's way easier. Because with being Panthers, it helps us. Like, I know, like, to reel off some really boring stats that you're not going to care about. I don't know why I'm going to say them. Like on all our social media, 2% of our followers are in Derby.
Right.
So when we run paid social ads in Derby, we run it as Panthers Ice Hockey. We don't
rather than not.
So we don't, because that's a trigger word.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put Nottingham Panthers.
That makes sense.
I want to put Panthers Ice Hockey.
Yeah.
So when you click that through, you're already interested before you see the word Nottingham.
Yeah.
Because you've seen what you've seen. It's like, rather than going, I'm not going to go watch that team in Nottingham, it's, that team plays in Nottingham.
Yeah.
So that's a good,
I get that.
I don't know why I went off on that tangent.
It's okay.
That was absolutely bizarre. I do apologise for that. So when you grow up supporting Forest, what would you say is your highest moment as a Forest fan?
Bit tough.
It's on the up and up now, though.
Definitely. Right now, it's really positive.
I'm not going to say his name because I can't pronounce it. But the manager over there seems to be doing a really good job.
Sabri Lamucci.
That's the one.
Yeah, he is. And they've got a good team. I went to watch him at Luton on Saturday, so that was great. It's a really small ground and quite old-fashioned. And
it's quite a trek as well.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, to be fair.
Was that a family trip, you and the girls?
Me and the husband, and we went on like a supporters bus. But it was really good, really good. Like one of the grounds that when you see there in your league, you want to go to.
I was just like ticking ones off the list kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but it's just, I don't know, it's just, you see the new grounds now, don't you? And it's one of the old-fashioned ones which are probably going to get knocked down and built again soon.
Where all the stands are like different shapes and things.
A bit, yeah.
That's my favourite thing about cricket grounds, is that nothing looks like it belongs where it should be.
Yeah, I do like that, but...
It's just how they pick up a part and just put it down.
Pretty much, but Luton is at the site, so there's 2 terrace houses. You go under the terrace houses, and that's where the stand is. It's really surreal.
Oh, wow.
So it's really old school. And then you go up the steps and you can see in people's gardens. So it is
having a nosy way.
Well, some people had the washing out, I was chucking it down, so a bit strange.
You're sat there thinking, I hope mine isn't out.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
And did they won?
They won 2-1.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah. But highlight of my supporting Forest career, probably when we got promoted out of League One.
Okay.
Because it was horrible in League One. It was tough.
What was worse, the relegation from the Championship or the relegation from the Premier League?
I can't really remember the Premier League one though. I think I was too young, but I'd say being in the League One was difficult because it was tough and you wanted to just get straight back up to the Championship. Well,
you always say that about like every division. Like they say that, I know they say the Championship is the hardest one to get out of because all the teams are very similar.
Yeah. And
like you look at a team like Stoke who get relegated, they're already down
at the bottom.
Showing a bit of football knowledge. I'm quite impressing myself at the minute. But then League One, is that the same? Is that
Is
that a little bit easier to get out of for a team? Because Forest is a club with stature.
That was the thing. I think that people, when you're a club like Forest and you was in the League One, I think people up their game, don't they? They're playing against 2 times European champions. So I know it's taught in the past, but that's what people know Forest as. Yeah. So I think everyone raises their game to play against a big club. So it was difficult to get out of. It's
the same when you see teams like, and this is no disrespect to teams like Dundee. When they come here, their players see this big stadium and they think, well, if I play well here, I might end up playing here. Yeah. So you kind of up your game.
They're the underdogs, so they've got nothing to lose. They could play out their skin, and you're
supposed to beat them. Exactly. So you're like, oh gosh.
How do you play that? You're confident, but you've still got to play to your best. As what I consider myself to be quite pragmatic, like I'm pretty logical. Yeah. I put myself in their shoes. That must be it must be nice to be the favourite. But it must be horrible going in because there's always going to be one thing in the back of your head that thinks, what if this happens? Or don't try not to make it. Yeah, just play your normal game. But it's different. Yeah, different games can be different like that.
So what's the best football stadium you say you've been
to? City Ground, obviously.
Well, we'll take that one out of the list of options.
Okay. I played in Macedonia actually for England under-19, so we got to play at their national stadium. That was pretty cool. My mum and dad were there as well. That was nice. Where else?
Was that a friendly or was that a competition?
It was European Championship.
Oh, okay.
Under-19 level, and it was the final. We got to play there.
Was that what age group did you first play for England?
Under-19s. That was my first tournament for England.
So is that a phone call you get? Is that an email? Is that a text message?
Email and letter, I think it was.
Letter?
Yeah, I'm sure it was a letter. Definitely email. Maybe even a phone call as well.
Did you think it was a fake email or letter when you got it?
No, because I'd been in the training things before and the build up, the qualifiers, and but that was my first time I'd played it. It came out of the blue, proper out of the blue.
So who was in that England team then? All that under-19 level.
Lucy Bronze, Jordan Nobbs.
It's a pretty decent group then.
Yeah, there's a lot of players that are in the team now that were kind of in that group as well. So that was a special group to be part of.
And even like at that age, when you see Lucy Bronze, could you tell then she's just different?
She was always good. Yeah.
Because even she's built differently to everyone else. She's just so like strong
and fast, big. Always fast. Yeah, very good player. I think she's always worked hard, and it was kind of a natural ability as well as her mentally and strength and working hard.
I remember I can't remember if it was at the World Cup, one of the friendlies afterwards. I remember she just clattered into it. It wasn't a tackle. She just collided with someone. It was like watching some of our guys hit people on the ice, and she wouldn't have been out of place.
Yeah,
throwing hits in the corners. It's just absolutely incredible to watch.
Yeah, she was a good player, very very good player.
Were you on her side when you were playing? Oh, she's a right back.
She played centre back actually then. And I think a few years after that's when she moved to right back, which naturally was more, I think, better for her because she could bomb forward a bit more and get involved in attacks a bit more.
So obviously now they've tried this experiment with her at centre midfield.
Yeah. Again, she looks comfortable to me there as well, but I think I prefer her at right back.
I would trust your learned opinion on that one rather than my.
But she does. I think she could do a job anywhere. She's
she'd probably sit up front and score.
Yeah.
You look at them goals she scored, especially I bet Norway hate Lucy Bronze with the goals she likes to score against them.
Yeah.
So what other did you play for England at any other levels, or was that just the only one?
So that same year we went to under-20 World Cup. So I was lucky that in that same year we did both.
Where was that at?
Germany. So I only got one cap in that World Cup, but that was really a good experience.
And who did you play against? Did you start? Or did you
started against Nigeria in the first game. It was like the hottest day ever. It was a difficult game. We drew 1-1. I don't think we didn't get out of the group stages that World Cup though. So, but it was really like just to be a part of that and be around the players, and like I said, one of my first times playing for England, it was really really good.
That must have been absolutely. I imagine even then you get that experience of a different world, even going away with the England team.
Even like the Euros compared to the World Cup was much bigger because it's the world stage, and it was just we had like police escorts for our coach and stuff, which sounds crazy to us, but it was really good.
Yeah, I remember our guys had that problem when they went to this last year when they played in the top level of international hockey. With others, Great Britain, so you get Wales, Scotland, everyone's in it. But I'm talking to one of them, and he came back and he said, "Yeah, we had all these like armed escorts and things." Yeah, you won't get that here in Nottingham. Yeah, we're not doing that for you.
Yeah.
So, would you say prouder moment, leading a team out of the City Ground, or getting that cap for England? So I know I picked because I'm not a patriotic person.
I don't know. I don't know how you can compare them.
Okay.
It's difficult to compare because I don't know, playing for your country but playing for the team you love and grew up supporting. I don't know. It's I don't know if I can compare. It's two different separate.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
I don't want to choose.
No, you don't want to choose.
No, I'd refuse.
Well, this has gone well.
Yeah.
First time anyone's come on here and refused something. So at least you got that notch ticked off.
And that was like an international game, I guess. It was against Jamaica. So
that bit about you refusing is going to be my little teaser on Twitter for this episode. It's going to be, oh look, I had the first non-ice hockey guest I have on is the first person to refuse a question.
I don't know. I really can't choose. It is difficult.
Okay, I'll ask you a bit of an easier question. What's the favourite goal you've ever scored?
There's not many to choose from.
Well, it should be easy then.
I scored when did I score? A few weeks ago.
You can't pick the most recent one.
No, I'm trying to think my best goal. I scored. I'm sure it was away at Millwall. I think I was 18. I'll say it was a volley, but it wasn't really.
Big it up. Big it up as much as you can.
It bounced a few times before, and I just hit it. I think just swung my leg at it, and I think I was about 18. I'm not sure if it was the winner. 2-1. I'm sure it was 2-1. That was all right, I guess.
That was all right.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, and I've scored 2 this season. Which don't happen often. So
headers or
one header, one
from a corner.
One header from a corner and one tap in from got across the defender and hit it in from a free kick.
You beat the defender to the spot.
Let's go for that. Yeah.
Got to big this up a little bit. That's that marketing jazz in there.
It was a good tidy finish to be fair.
So do you get as much enjoyment out of say making a goal line clearance as you do out of a goal then?
Yeah.
As a defender.
Yeah, well, that's what. I don't score many.
Or is it like for you? Is it a nice, good slide tackle?
Yeah, like a good challenge or like if anyone does it in a game, I'm like yes, well done. Like I love that, and as a defender, obviously that's what you're there to do. So yeah, I'd say it's as good as a goal for me anyway. Obviously not as important as a goal all the time.
I'm sure Precious will disagree with you.
Of course you will.
So when the grounds you play at the minute, some of them are AstroTurf and some are real, or are they all real?
Ours is obviously fake grass. I think the majority we play are real, yeah.
So how does because does the ball bounce more on yours, or
yeah?
To ask a potentially ridiculous question.
No, it's not ridiculous. Obviously, the fake grass, it's all you know what you're getting. We train on there, so we are used to it. It
gives you a real
fast.
home advantage then.
Yeah, I think so. But I think a lot of teams do train on 3G pitches. But with grass, obviously, the ball bounces differently depending on the weather and all that. So it does get some getting used to sometimes. But we've played on that many grass pitches as well that
doesn't make a difference.
Not really.
And plus, when you grow, I guess when you're growing up as well, you're playing on all sorts with lumps in it,
exactly,
and holes when you, especially, and then you learn that when you're a kid, don't you? You're on the park playing football, and it hits a divot, and it doesn't do what it's supposed to do and things.
And as soon as you get into the game a bit more, you can judge that a bit better. So, yeah.
So where do you see yourself with this team in the future? Is this where you want to be long term now?
Definitely,
Forest?
yeah. I want to get promoted with this team and play as long as I can with this team. So
you want to take it as far as it can go.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And you rate your chances of doing that this year?
Yeah.
I know athletes will never call their shot straight away, but
I think we're in. If we keep going the way we are, again I keep going back to Sunday, but Burnley's a tough game. That if we go and beat them.
Yeah, I'm glad you keep going back to Sunday because like I said, this is going out after Sunday. So this is good.
Yeah, sorry.
This part, it'll make it good retrospectively.
Yeah. But it's when you come against the teams that near the top, then you kind of see where you're at, don't you? So I think we've got a few tough games coming up in December and November. So if we see how they go, I think we'll be on track to hopefully being in and around it towards the end of the year.
So then, as club captain and someone who's been around Forest for such a long time, like when new players come in, like I know you recently signed a centre back. Is she centre back?
Right back.
Right back.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's a defender.
Yeah.
Do you reach out to her when she gets signed?
Yeah, of course.
Just to introduce yourself and tell her a bit about the values of the team.
Well,
because I know she's quite a good player, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. She knows a few of us or a few of the team already. I wouldn't say I rang her and said these are the values, sort of thing. You can, as soon as you come into training, we have meetings before matches and training sessions to see what we're going to work on, and you kind of get the feel of the way that she would have been spoke to before about our ambitions and everything and where we want to be. So she's already on board, and then you kind of just get her to fit in, and she has, and kind of go from there. And
so you kind of do your welcome when she gets to the ground.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, in the pre-season when we'd signed a few players that before we'd started back to training, I sent them a text just to say like welcome and introduce myself a bit. But once you're back at training, it's meeting face to face and getting to know them that way.
And so, do you take as the captain again? Do you take on any mentorship role with any of the younger players, kind of thing?
We have got quite a few younger players actually, so I think naturally, being a mother as well, you can't. It's just the way I am naturally. I'd say if there was any advice, that there's a few of us that would do that and would all do it for each other. But I don't know about men. It's not specifically mentoring, but I think, like you say, just naturally
take them under your wing a little bit.
Yeah, as such. Yeah, if they need a bit of advice or there's something in a game that they're not sure that it's working, or I'd be there to offer advice as well as obviously the coaching staff and every other player.
I imagine you'd be quite good to offer advice. Like say if they were struggling with the balancing of university work, with play.
There will be players like that.
Yeah, because not everyone can handle.
It is difficult.
That workload kind of thing. Yeah,
and especially like I said before, the uni girls they've got matches. Some of them are playing Wednesday nights and stuff, training either side. It's a lot for them to do as well. So I think everyone kind of can relate to that. The balancing, and it's just trying to, I don't know, get the right balance that you're happy and.
It's how to best do it.
Exactly, and no way is the right way. I guess everyone's got their own way of doing it, haven't they? And I would offer as much advice as I can help it.
Yeah, and when you are balancing things that you genuinely love and you genuinely do, it's not much balancing. But I can imagine if you're young and you come into it, it can be. It's more a lot.
Yeah, and especially when something's new, they might have just come to the team and. The games are building up, or there's a harder game coming on Sunday, or it's difficult to manage at times. But I think there's enough people in our team that would offer advice and are there to reach out to as well. Not just myself. There's a lot of others as well. So we're a good group.
So when was the last time you came to a Panthers game?
That's not even last year, I don't think. I haven't been for a while. We've been meaning to. We've been on about it, doing a social to come and watch, because every time I've been, I've loved it. And
I thought you were going to say every time you've been with one. So I was going to say, you've got to come this weekend.
The last time we came, I think we lost.
Although we are now after when I spoke to you at the Hull game, I said we'd lost 9 out of 10. We've now won 3 in a row.
Oh, brilliant!
Well, and
we're good luck then.
We're
coming to our game.
It is, but the bad thing is we've got so many Sunday games, I can't come and watch you again until February. So we might be a bit screwed.
We'll let you off.
Because we start at 4 on a Sunday.
Yeah, it would be too tight to get over, wouldn't it?
It'd be horrendous.
Yeah.
unless you want to move your games to 12 o'clock, then I can make it happen.
We could try. I don't know.
I might send Lee an email specifically. Can you come and do this for me? I don't like my chances there.
No, probably not.
No. So, and I know, like you say, you want to come and do it as a social thing. Are you the only one in your team who's been here?
I'm not sure. There's a few that are not Nottingham based, so they wouldn't have been to a Panthers game, but a lot of them are uni, so they're not from Nottingham. I don't know. I bet some of them have. There's a few local girls that would have. Because
I see. I don't know if this will sound weird when I say it, but I see a lot of correlation between women's football and ice hockey, in the sense that they're both growing sports.
Yeah.
Like ice hockey is the UK's best kept secret. Yeah. There is no doubt in my mind about that. Hardly anyone like.
What's the average attendance then?
For us, it's about 5,500.
Yeah.
And that's based on, I don't know, I can't remember what the season ticket figure is, but we have a couple of thousand
But how many have like a big stadium? Obviously Sheffield do, don't
Sheffield, Belfast, Cardiff had one built recently that holds about, I want to say 3.5.
Yeah.
So they're we're the 4 arena teams.
Yeah.
Then you've got teams underneath like Coventry who have like it's a ring. Coventry is absolutely freezing, but it's one of the bigger of the.
Right.
Then bottom end, you're looking at like your Manchesters and your Dundees and things like that.
Okay.
So that establishment does normally filter out into the league table because this is such a.
Well,
it's a budget based sport kind of thing because you can spend what you can bring in kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I say ice hockey to me is the UK's best kept secret.
Yeah.
But it is starting to get a bit on the rise now. Now we're on telly on free sports and things.
Yeah.
But it's also, like I say, for some reason I draw the line with I see the comparison with women's football in that they're both growing at the same time.
Definitely, I agree with that. Yeah.
And she'll be looking forward to getting on the ice and doing that shooting stuff then.
Apparently. As long as I don't fall over.
Well, I don't think I'll put you in skates.
No, please don't do that.
No, it'd be normal.
In trainers.
The way I would think about it is that you'd have you'd have like you versus someone else or 2 people versus each other. No, like you and like Precious, say.
You're right.
And who could score more? Past one of the goalies.
Oh yeah, we could. So let's go for that.
That's nice and simple and make a nice video.
I'll definitely fall over. I'm clumsy.
I mean, if you do fall over, it would be very good for the video.
Yeah, I'll try. Try to do it for the video.
But well, it's not really good now.
That'll be the reason.
Now everyone's going to know that that's what it is. Yeah, no, but I definitely think there will be.
No, that'll be good. That'll be really good to do.
No, because I remember when I was talking to Lee, we were talking about a few different funky ideas like that, and like I mentioned to him about we get all you girls down into a box.
Yeah.
That invite your team down and stuff.
That'll be good. Yeah.
So when the schedules allow it, we will definitely.
You say there's a lot of Sunday games coming up there.
We've got a lot of Sunday games. We've got a few Saturday things going on. We've got midweek games. You can always be balanced around and things.
What midweek is it? Wednesdays or?
Normally Wednesdays. We are playing on Valentine's Day.
What's that? Wednesday.
That's a Thursday. We haven't played on we've got a Thursday in January. Then we play on Valentine's Day as well.
Okay.
Got a special Valentine's kit for it.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it like?
It's white with love hearts on the chest, like loads of different hearts. Yeah. And there's like the logo in the middle, and then there's like a band around the stomach, but it's got a rainbow in it.
Oh, amazing!
So,
can you buy them as well, or are they just match one?
You will not be able to buy that one.
Yeah.
They're being sold in the sense of you can buy a game worn one.
Yeah.
But they're all like a flat. Yeah, because our charity this year is a trained cardiac unit.
Right, amazing then.
So it's a heart charity.
Yeah,
fits
makes
in
sense.
with Valentine's Day, and we actually got ice time on Valentine's Day, so it all blends in together quite well. Because I know Forest are quite active in the community with stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen the stuff today about like mental health and things that they've been doing.
Big on that, especially this year. I think it's been pushed a bit more.
Because do you guys get out into the community a lot?
Not really. No, I know the men's team do. We've seen it. I think like our coach Andy has been to a few like schools and stuff, but we don't get out as much as we'd probably like to. But it might be something we can do more in the future as well.
Yeah, I guess it's a time thing as well, especially if you're all busy.
Exactly, it's difficult to do.
I mean, I'm amazed I've managed to get you for an hour based on your schedule and your life and everything today. I haven't had my tea yet,
that's why. I miss my tea.
Have it after. You're gonna start throwing things at me in a minute.
No.
So you know when you have like when you have your first child.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about packing in football then?
No.
And I'm really throwing you for a curve.
I was young. I was 20 when I had Ruben. No, I didn't see any. I always knew that I'd want to come back and just I was determined to do so. So I think I didn't really think of it like that. I don't think.
Because I'm going to inflate your ego a little bit with this.
Right.
Because as someone who works full time and has 2 children and is a semi-professional footballer with aims of still going full-time professional when your team gets promoted.
Yeah.
That is quite an inspirational story in itself.
Oh, thank you.
So, I mean, in the sense of like, that is a story that you could see you being viewed as a role model to other people within that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you ever contemplate that in your mind, or do you?
It's not something I think about. I know, like, obviously when you see the young girls after the games and stuff, you see that, but I'm just a normal person. Like, I'm not a superhero. Like, I'm just doing what I've got to do and what I like doing. So I don't see it like that.
That's the thing. When people see sports stars, they think they are super, but deep down they are just people.
Yeah, of course. And everyone can relate to that, can't they? It's just. And
it's quite nice when you meet someone and they are a nice person.
Yeah.
It is.
It makes it that bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And more likeable, I guess.
Yeah. So, has this been too traumatic for you or anything?
No, it's been fine.
It's been okay.
Yeah.
So I know you were dreading this a bit when you mentioned it at the game.
It's been.
Especially when I told you it was for around an hour, then you seemed a bit trepidatious.
It's been an hour.
It's been around that. You got here a little bit early, so it's nearly 8 o'clock.
That was quick.
I'm just good company, is what it is.
Yeah, it was casual chat, wasn't it? It was good.
I'd
Nothing hard to answer.
I did one of these with one person, and they go, "I thought you were after stories about like nights out and things." I was like, "No, I just want stories about who you've played with and about you and
it was good.
What you like and things." So, as it get home and have some food now?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
Don't worry, no, it's fine.
And then
the kids are fed. That's all that matters.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Then you're looking forward to seeing this go out next week, then?
I probably won't watch it.
You can listen to it. It goes out on all the platforms.
That's the worst bit, to listen to it.
It goes on.
Hear your voice.
It goes on YouTube. It goes on like Spotify. It goes on like.
That's really
Apple
good.
Podcasts.
I'll get everyone else to watch it.
Yeah, we literally distribute it everywhere.
Really?
Because that's how I believe in that content model.
Yeah.
The reason I record it is so I can clip out a little story. Like we can clip out the story of you talking about Lucy Bronze.
Yeah.
And that's the story. This is when Lyndsey played with Lucy. This is how Lyndsey her favourite things.
Yeah.
The favourite game when Lyndsey talked about the thing of this. But also you are, like I said before, you are the first non-ice hockey person on this. How's that feel?
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's quite unique.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to be the only Forest women's player on here.
Yeah, it'd be good to get some of more on, to be fair.
Okay, I'll let you dob some of them in now. Who do you think would be good at this? Because they might hate you when they hear you say the name.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Who's fun?
Katie Middleton is funny. Like she'd be a laugh. That would be a good one.
Is she your nomination?
Don't know. Precious as well. You got a goal scorer.
Well, I saw her on the stage, and she was, like I say, she seemed like quite a character. I mean, your coach seems like quite a character.
Yeah, and Andy will be a laugh, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to get Lee on because I know Lee he's got the obviously with his time in Boston.
Yeah.
His to be a bit. I want to get him on because it'd be a bit more businessy.
Yeah, definitely.
It's about what goes into, building a team up from the bottom and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be really
good.
Because I'm a geek and I love like business talk and things.
It is good for stuff. Yeah.
So that's how it goes from like where you pick where a team is, where you build it from, how you build it up. For me, that's just.
That'll be good.
Fast and what goes into the process of, like, because in English sports you don't generally have a general manager.
Yeah.
That's a very American thing.
Yeah.
So for Forest,
especially at our level particularly as well.
Yeah. Well, that shows the ambition.
Yeah,
of the
definitely.
Team. But to have a general manager, it just shows a different way of thinking as well.
Yeah.
Because you're not going down this standard route of you've got a manager who's going to do everything. You actually got a guy who's going to sit there
and help him out.
And look at everything, and because obviously in American sports the general manager does most of the recruiting. Whereas I don't know if Lee is the one who reaches out.
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest.
But obviously being communicated. Like I know, like say if you like watch the NHL, and a general manager will sign players based on the type of coach he has. Yeah. So if his coach is more defensive, he'll sign better players that end rather than top end.
Well, I suppose it's everything.
Yeah, it's all based because if you don't pick a team that suits your manager, what's the point in having that manager?
Got to click together.
You've got to have the whole the whole mesh.
I get you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this.
No problem.
Thank you for missing your food to do this.
I'll eat now.
Is that it? Go for the food now.